believe, guys. What's going on? It's TYM, man. We just talking to you guys about how this year went for us in 2017, man. It was a crazy year. I was thinking, we were all talking about how bad this year was, and coming from a situation to where I wasn't like mentally stable, emotionally stable, to a situation to where now, we basically created our own job, and we have our own enterprise or industry coming. This year has definitely been crazy, man. Like I said, I started off this 2017 year with money in my pocket, and I was in a relationship, and then that relationship went south. And as soon as that relationship went south, I went south too, and my money started disappearing. I started spending money on stupid stuff, and ended up going broke and put myself in a position to be in debt and not having any way to get out of it. And like I said, I stayed on Alan's couch for a month and really just started to work on myself. I realized that whenever in life, you kind of got to catch the lesson that God wants you to catch. And I caught that He wanted me to value myself and to start creating my own energy and being who I was supposed to be. Because I think we're so good at catching the lesson that God wants us to catch, so we don't spend a lot of time relearning things that we already know. And you guys can give your take on it too. I mean, we all came from terrible situations this year.
So man, this year has been just pretty crazy for me throughout. I lost my job at the end of 2016. Spent basically the first 6 months of this year just jobless. Just really trying to gather myself and get to know myself better and really understand what I wanted to do, what my purpose was, and just really grow as an individual.
So would you say that's a big part of it, is a lot of people don't spend enough time with themselves, getting to learn themselves? Like you said, you spent 6 months. I spent like 3, Willie, how many times did you spend really trying to get to know yourself, or what is your perspective on it?
I feel like you don't put a time limit on something like that. I feel like you always get to know yourself. Even now, I still get to know myself. When I thought I knew everything about myself, a week ago.
You did have a certain period of time in your life where you did just focus on getting to know yourself and
what
you wanted to do.
Yeah. That was recently, actually.
Yeah.
That was right before I hit you up with the real estate.
Yeah.
I was going through my head. I was like, I'm working at UPS. I knew that I didn't want to do this forever. So I started just watching videos on people who became successful, and I was like, okay, so what can I do to separate myself from the average, $50,000 a year to make that leap to, millionaire status or successful, because just because you are a millionaire doesn't mean you are successful if you're not happy. So, that's when I came to you with the real estate stuff, and ever since then, it's just been a lot easier for me. Waking up every day is a lot easier when you know that you're building towards something instead of just going towards a job that
Don't care about it.
doesn't care about
That
you.
really don't care
It's
about
a
you.
lot easier waking up knowing that I can hit y'all two up and we have plans for the future.
Yeah, because when you think about it, if you no matter how long you work a 9 to 5, you always gonna be broke. It don't matter how much money you make an hour or nothing like that. And like I was asking Alan, that time that you really need to just sit and focus on yourself, it's gonna be different for everybody. Like I said, for me it was like 3 months where I just spent time listening to other people say how they achieved their greatness, and then really started to believe it. Like I said, I was in the gym every day, working on my body and my mindset, telling myself I mattered, because at that period of time, I really felt like I wasn't an important individual. I remember I asked my dad, what are some of the most important lessons life has taught you? And I think he did this on purpose because he knew what I was going through. But at the very end of the list, it was like 10, 15 things. At the very end, he said, nobody determines your self-worth but you. And that was the biggest thing for me out of 2017, is realizing that nobody in the world determines how valuable I am but myself. And I think that goes for each individual that you see up here.
You gotta remember too that about time, you don't have a lot of time to do what you want to do. For instance, I lost one of my best friends in a car wreck, 23 years old in August, maybe, or maybe a little later. But, I lost him in a car wreck, one of the, best all-around dudes I ever knew. So you gotta realize that you don't have a lot of time to do what you want to do, so you gotta take action. Because if you wait for there's never a right time.
Yeah.
There's never a right time. Just do it today.
That's what a lot of people get so caught up in. They always say, well, I'm gonna wait till this specific time when the timing's right. but if you wait, you'll never jump.
Yeah,
So,
or the new year. You know, everybody always waits for the new year to start over. And new year, new me. Everybody's always talking about what 2018 or the next year is going to be, and it's not going to be any of that because you're still going into that new year with the same old mindset and the same mentality. Big question is, what's the biggest lesson you guys learned this year?
In that book that me and you had read, that guy said, life is gonna keep teaching you the same lesson until you learn it.
Yeah.
So you can't say, why does this keep happening to me? You just have to figure out what is life trying to teach you, and then life will throw something else at you. You know, it's never gonna be easy, but if the same thing keeps happening to you, it's because you're not learning the lesson.
Yeah, I think the most important lesson that I've learned was the energy, effort, and attitude. I kind of made that up by myself, but it just EEA, and it's kind of the blueprint for you to be successful is you need amazing energy, you need to put forth amazing effort, and you gotta have an amazing attitude. And when I made it up, I was just playing, but when I started talking to individuals who are actually successful, and I started paying attention to individuals who was actually successful, it all boils down to your energy, your effort, and your attitude. And I've done a lot of research on time management, and a lot of it says don't focus on managing your time, focusing on managing your energy. And then like your effort is the only thing that sets you apart from the other people who are working just as hard as you. That's why the Kobe's and the Michael Jordans stand out amongst their peers, is because they put in that extra effort. And the attitude, your attitude is the thing that gives you the biggest advantage because, us three individuals right here, we all have different attitudes. And, you might see something in Willie that you don't see in me that you gravitate towards, but we could be doing the exact same thing. And it's just your attitude that separates you from the mediocre. That's why you take two people from the same circumstances that, one gets the job and one doesn't. It's simply because the other guy's attitude was so much better than his peer. So I think the biggest lesson I learned was how to control your energy, your effort, and your attitude.
If I would have to say the biggest lesson I learned this year was that you can't take the time that we have with our family and friends for granted, because life can change instantly. Like I said, I lost one of my best friends not too long ago. So, once your time is up, you can't change what you did. So, try to leave behind try to do as much as you can while you have the time now, because you never know when your time is up.
I'll say my most important lesson is to keep learning. Because coming from school, not really applying myself to really going and doing my self-inflicted learning, like, man, I learned so much things, from reading and doing research, videos, watching interviews, documentaries, man, like.
It's crazy. Like I said, it's crazy how much you can educate yourself alone.
Yeah.
Going home watching a 5-minute video, you can learn everything you need to know that somebody in a week course in college didn't learn.
Yeah.
Also, man, you can learn some of them life lessons.
And I think that's something that we want to do as a group, is to not stress the importance of going to school for your degree, but for the skills that it teaches for like accountability, adaptability, being punctual, and working hard. And I think that's really, because if you pay attention to anybody who's successful, that's the traits that they embody. I've never heard anybody, and I love this song, I've never heard anybody talk about their degree as the reason why they're successful. And like Alan said it, Alan called it on the money. He said, you probably, if you talk about people who go to school and talk about their success, they probably credit it to a teacher. And to give a prime example, back in 10th grade, I had a teacher named Miss Presty, who really helped me find myself and become the individual that I am, because she kind of challenged me to be the person that I am, to actually be the intellectual, to be smart, and not to be apologetic about it. And she helped me with the way I articulate myself and my sentence structure and the way I talk. She helped me with those things. And everything is for your development. And I love what he said, keep learning. You're never going to be at a point to where you know exactly what's going on. And the more that you learn, the more of an asset you become to individuals. When you create your own thing, whatever it is, it really depends on how easy you make somebody else's job and how beneficial you are to them. That's what you get paid for. That's what you get paid for. I mean, if you think about it, that's why you go to work. Because if a manager had to do all the work himself, he would be busy.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be able to manage his business. But if he hires employees, pays them $7.20, $8.20, $9 an hour to do his other little jobs, he can manage his business thoroughly and do it well. You know what I'm saying? So if you go ahead and just skip the middleman, employ yourself, even if you're not making money for the first couple of years. Like I said, like we've been doing some risky stuff and we've been struggling, but I mean we're actually at the point now for 2018 where we have created our own job and can get paid. And we have the potential to make a lot of money. It just depends on how hard we work. And
that's one thing we really need to speak on is money and finances and people, you know, following their real dreams.
yeah, 2018 is the year I make 100K. That's baseline. But that's the year I make my first 100K. And that's really a goal for me, man. Like I said, I was talking to my dad and I said, potential is better than security. And he kind of walked off and said it in like a mocking way. He's like, potential is better than security. And I said, you know, it's crazy because you go to work, and I'm not gonna use my dad for the example, but some people go to work and you know you're gonna make $30,000 this year. You know you're gonna make $50,000 a year, and you know you're gonna be broke with that amount of money. When you start talking about potential versus security, all potential is things that you can do. There are things that are possible to you. That all you have to do is bridge the gap. That's all it is. Yeah. So you have this much potential. Up here is possible, but you're down here, and all you have to do is bridge the gap. With security, it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how many days you go to work. It's like a salary job. No matter how many days, no matter how much overtime you work, you're going to get paid $50,000 this year. So everything else you do is just extra.
They said something about believing in yourself. We spoke our own jobs into existence.
Yep.
We woke up every day with the mindset we want to have our own jobs. We want to be our own boss. We don't want to go work. We don't want to go to work at 9 and then get off at 5. We just don't like that repetition. So we kind of spoke that into existence, you know, and it happened. And you know, it's not as easy as just saying I want to do this. So
yeah,
you just wait to happen. You know, you got to take action, but at the same time, you know, you got to believe in it. You can't. And that's settle for less.
And that's another thing, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you and say that we've been working extremely hard and nothing like that. Like we've been putting in work, but and that's probably why we're not where we want to be yet. But like I say, everything happens for a reason. But I'm not gonna lie to you. As long as you commit it in your heart and you follow through with it, it's gonna happen. Like God blesses you regardless. As long as He sees that you're committed to it. That's another thing, you know. How do you go about finding your purpose? You know what I'm saying? I've been doing a lot of research on that, and I feel like your purpose should fulfill you. You should use your heart to find it, and it should feel right to you. You know what I'm saying? It should challenge you to grow, and that's why I love this speaking so much. Even if I wasn't getting paid, which I'm not, but even if I was to never get paid, the only reason that I'm mature as I am and that I'm so focused on this thing is because it's helping me grow as an individual.
I feel like one thing. I feel like this. Your purpose.
I feel like this.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I feel like this. So, I feel like everybody knows their purpose. I feel like you know your purpose before like you even have to think about it or have to sit on it and think. Because whatever you obviously like doing or enjoy doing, a hobby or something that you just really passionate about.
That's probably your purpose 9 times out of 10. And then the biggest revelation for me was Chris Blue. We went to go hear Chris Blue speak, and the whole speech he didn't look at us or nothing like that, but at the end of the speech I was insecure. I was like, man, I'm probably not supposed to be a speaker and I shouldn't be doing this. And he looked dead at me and said, I want you to win. And I thought that was God just talking to me, so I went up and talked to him afterwards. He said, I do, man. He said, I do want you to win. He was like, I see it in you. He's like, keep going, keep practicing. And you know, we've been doing it ever since, you know what I'm saying? So you're definitely going to have to go through things that test your faith in what you're doing and to test your passion.
Yeah, you know, we've all had moments like that over the past couple of months where, you know, what we started out wanting to do, make money, didn't work out. And, you know, obviously we have doubts about certain things, but at the end of the day, we always come back to believing. Listen, if it makes it hard for you to give up, you know, it's gonna keep making it hard for you.
Yeah.
Once you find a way to overcome it.
I love what Eric Thomas said about that. He said you can either struggle for another year and a half and be free for the rest of your life, or you can quit, struggle for the next 30 years and still be struggling. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be a struggle, it's gonna be a fight, but you just have to be willing to dog that thing out and keep going. I mean, that's the same thing with, like I said, I've only dealt with depression. And depression, it kind of gets you in a situation where you don't want to wake up in certain mornings and you don't really want to extend your hand out to anybody. When it happened just recently this last year, because like I said, I was in a terrible position. Like, I was pulling up on houses, I was pulling up on basketball games, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got real physical. And, you know, I was in a real bad situation. And I just had to really take myself back from the situation and realize that that's not me and that's not who I want to be. And I spent 3 months just work on I promised myself, I said, you're not going to spend, while I was in that relationship for 2 years, I said, you're not going to spend another 2 years being miserable. I said, you're going to get this done by next year. And, you know, I just focused on myself for 3 whole months. And I pushed past my barriers of depression. And I've been good ever since. So, I mean, you know, you're going to go through some trials and some tribulations.
I would say my biggest goals for 2018 is definitely to be take more action. I definitely get caught up, you know what I'm saying, even with like the weight loss and stuff. I get caught up in, you know, saying I'm gonna do it, but then like, you know how I was talking about earlier, you know, people say they gonna wait till a certain time to do it and don't never do it.
The right time.
So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna definitely do this year, is definitely be more serious about it and take more action.
What about you, Will Dog? What's your biggest goal?
My biggest goal for 2018, I would say is to be financially free. I feel like that's a big one for me. I've already dealt with a lot of my mental and emotional, you know, trials, stuff like that. I pretty much figured out how to manage my emotions, time, other things like that. So, you know, being internally free is a good thing, which I have. You know, I've already managed to do.
Oh yeah, I think we all got that.
So now the goal is to be, you know, free on the outside.
Yeah.
You know, being able to afford, you know, gas. Like I won't lie, I've had trouble with gas this year, food. So being financially free is a big goal for me this year, and I think that's number 1 on my list.
Yeah,
Yep.
I would definitely have to go ahead.
Yeah, we are. That's why I said 100K. That's what I'm shooting for.
Yeah. I didn't really say a financial goal. I guess because I feel it in my heart.
Yeah.
What you really are?
Man, I feel like we better get 100 million a year.
This is just our summary of 2017, man. For a lot of people, it was a bad year. So you know, it's just a word of encouragement and kind of just a background check, you guys, so you get to know who we all are. And you know, we started the year with some people. It did end the year with some people. Like Alan's cousin said, some people grow with you, some people go with you, or something like that. So,
started the year without people and ended it with people.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't even in the picture.
Yeah.
We didn't even like Willie to start out.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, it's just, you know, never sweat your trials and tribulations, guys. Never sweat them, because they're passing and it's just making you stronger. And like Diddy said, you know, the sun won't shine forever, but as long as it can, then we might as well shine together, man.